Yo, what's good, everybody? Today is December the 16th, 2025. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another opportunity of prayer. We ask you, God, that you bless our conversation as well as our gathering and everyone that's watching as well. In Jesus' name we pray, man. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show. I think we got one more left before the year is over. Um, what's good? What you saying?
What's going on?
Man, another day, man. Still trying to get over this cold and the cold weather. Other than that, not much.
Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Want to say happy born day to everybody too that celebrated over this weekend, over this previous week. Um, Shout out to you guys. We got the holiday season coming up. Everybody's getting ready for Christmas. I see a lot of people didn't necessarily care for my posting of Geno Jennings sermon about Christmas and the holiday celebrations. I'm sorry, let me turn it off. I was trying to do some research on this Brown shooting incident to discuss it tonight too, but I'm gonna let Sam take care of that. You know, Sam is more informed on the tellings of what's going on with that. But I'm praying for everybody involved. I did see that it was actually two people that lost their lives. So prayers out to their families as well. Babe, what's good, Jew? It's just a sad situation. It's like I have made a comment to somebody in a conversation the other day. Like it seems like we're not safe anywhere anymore. People are you seeing mass shootings in schools, different things going on in different churches, people getting shot in churches, and now this Brown University incident. It's just living in sad times. And the only advice that I could really give anybody is, whatever it is that you believe, make sure that you're doing whatever you possibly can to get in touch with your higher power, whether it be your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Allah, whatever it is that you believe. Now is definitely the season and time for you to be getting in touch with your higher power, because our days are limited here. You know what I mean? And there's no telling. It's so chaotic in this world. The different stuff that we're seeing in the news and on social media, it's kind of disheartening. Somebody had just sent me one about Tommy Hearns. I don't even know if you know about that, Sam. Somebody had just sent me a thing on Tommy Hearns, where is a dude that's informing or talking to Tommy Hearns about how he's been defrauded and how he wound up losing his mansion, and it's Tommy Hearns and his son sitting on the couch together, and the son is the one that defrauded his father. He's running a
Mhm.
fake LLC in his basement and everything else, wound up losing everything. And it's like, it's just so sad to see, everything people going through. People, like, it's one of the comments said something about, we got to come up with something newer than his blood is thicker than water. When it's, when especially when it's your own family members that's doing things like that to you. But it's just a real unfortunate situation, man. But I was telling them about the Brown. What do you know about the Brown incident, Brown University incident?
Yeah, just a shooting, but basically, the family's supposed to be doing a press conference because
Yeah, Jew.
yeah, the family is supposed to be doing a press conference because the people that was in the class basically they're not saying out loud um, because they don't want to be labeled Islamophobic. Um, they I knew something was up because normally when there's any type of shooting or anything like that, if it's a white dude, they get him out there quick. Anytime they don't identify the shooter, it's basically anybody but a white person. And I think basically the teaching assistant that was happened to be moderating the club meeting, they basically said when the guy came into the classroom, he didn't come in shooting. Basically, what the reporter asked him, he said he made eye contact, stared him dead in his eyes, and then he yelled out something in a foreign language. He yelled it out, and then he shot the girl. Collins, what is her name? He shot her, and the family is now saying that she was the target. And when you look at the stuff that's happening, classes are over. You know, everybody took their finals like last week, so classes were basically over Thursday. So I believe this was Saturday, but the person had to know what classroom they were meeting in, on what floor, and it just they had to know about it. And when you look at um when I saw the brother up there, the witness speaking on, it's like his main concern was to stay away from saying that it was somebody that was Islamic, because he didn't want to, like, everybody, especially at Brown University. But the young lady that was killed, she was um the president, the vice president of the Brown University Republicans Club. So I think that kind of like rips into, the narrative that, oh, it's like a super MAGA man or something that did it. Because a super MAGA man wouldn't yell Allah Akbar, wouldn't do certain things. So I think for I just think it's a bad situation. And now Brown is moving law enforcement onto the campus, but it's after the fact. Like, you want to be a gun. The reason why shootings happen at a lot of places, they're gun free zones. Security officers don't got no guns. SROs don't have any firearms.
Mhm.
So people, just like the schools that were shot up in Texas, Columbine, Colorado, Philadelphia, all those shootings, the one thing that was equal, except for the one at Joel Osteen's church, some of his people on staff, his security, they had guns and they took the girl out or the trans boy out. And it's like that's what they target. People are targeting where they won't get any pushback. And I think there should be an armed SRO, school resource officer or policeman. Somebody needs to be at the front door to be that gatekeeper for that school.
That was good too. Yeah, but and see that's the thing that bothers me. Period. Like I'm really at a point. I'm being honest. I'm really at a point where I almost want to get off social media. Period. Like real talk between just me personally, because it's like I get tired of the back and forth and everybody being right about their opinions, not the facts, but their opinions about different things, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's this, whether it's that. It's like in the climate that we living in the day and age that we living in, I would play devil's advocate and say, okay, well, yeah, of course it doesn't look like MAGA if they go in there and say something Islamic. But yeah, no, how do I know that it's not a white person or an ethnic person that is of Magna that knows that's not going to identify them? It's like the diverters or whatever the case may be. It's like so much stuff is plausible nowadays. Even when you look at and it's nothing new, but you're seeing it more and more amount even now with hip hop. How they've been saying it since the '80s that controversy sells. So a lot of this stuff, they coming up with these fake beefs, this fake thing. Oh, we going We don't know whether we getting played or not. That's what I'm saying. We talked about a little bit last week how they build these fights, and I met Jermaine Teller, and I knew Jermaine Teller when I lived in Little Rock. But who he had to promote himself to be as a fighter and talk trash, that's so not him at all. But he had to do that to sell fights, and it's like, at what point do we? At what point can we trust what our eyes what our eyes see, and know that it's still a lie? Um, Two says soft targets, schools, malls, parks, beaches, just to name a few. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, what bring it on? And the young lady name was Ella Cook too. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Ella Cook and uh, the other brother that died, that was deceased was Muhammad Aziz. I don't even want to wreck his last name, but condolences to both of those families. Um, it's just an unfortunate situation, man. It's like, if you're not safe in church, if you're not safe in schools, where are you safe at? You got people running up in people's houses. It's just a sickening world that we live in these day and age. And I know too, this we still got to get it worked out so you come back on too. He's he's a real big gun advocate, um and wanted to come on and talk about gun safety and different things of that nature there. But I'm one of them people. I'm one of them people. If we don't have guns, then we don't have gun violence. And I know that's not popular because everybody want to be armed and protect themselves these days here. But if you eliminate guns, you eliminate gun violence here in America.
Well, could I ask you something about that?
Go ahead.
Brown University, that's in Rhode Island.
Yeah, Providence.
Okay. They have one of the top strictest gun laws out of all the states in the US. Like, really strict. That don't stop it. You look at Australia. Australia is a country that's literally, they've gotten rid of just about all their firearms. Like, you can't have one. They seize all of them.
That's what Two just said. Did you see what happened in Australia? No, I didn't see it, but I'm
Yeah,
hearing you saying.
at the they were celebrating Hanukkah.
Mhm.
And the thing is Australia has one of the strictest gun laws in the world. Like, you can't get no firearm.
But
So
what happened was a shooting.
oh yeah, 15 people got killed.
Mm.
Like, if you look at the video, that Joker had a bolt action. He had oh, that Joker was like, he was in the dang on video game. Him
Now
and his
I got to
father.
look that up.
Yeah, him and his father. And the father ended up uh getting killed, or as vice. Yeah, I think the son lived, but the father died. Now, the thing is when you say get rid of the guns, this is the thing. I'm an advocate. I got this 500. I got this Daniel Defense, Smith and what, like, we stay ready in this house. So if somebody come in this house, we ask questions later.
Mm.
Ain't nothing in this house. There's a sign in the back that I used to have up, and it was pointed towards the golf. Ain't nothing in this house worth your life, because that's what will be taken. So the thing is like, let's say here in the US, they take all the guns. What about Baltimore? What about Chicago, where they have the strictest gun laws? What about LA? And those three are like in the top five. New Orleans, Memphis. Those are the top five murder capitals, or top five cities with the highest murder rate. So the thing is, if you take the firearms, the only people that are turning in their firearms is legal holders like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people aren't gonna give up their firearm. Like, dudes in the hoods, these YNs, whatever they say, you you don't realize like they holding on to arsenals. They're not giving that up. So now, as a law-abiding citizen, I'm gonna be unarmed where I can't defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what gun laws don't make. Gun laws don't make people safe. What they need to have is higher restrictions.
And
They
I'll push back just a little bit on that because I don't even think that is where it's the gun laws, or it doesn't really matter to me what laws. Forget gun laws, laws in general. It doesn't matter what laws are put in place if people don't have to abide by them, and you could get away with it. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's
those
like
those
it's not.
five cities
Yeah.
that those 5 cities that I named. Look what's happening to the DC police chief. She I knew something was up last week when she announced that she was retiring. And one thing that she was proud of is how much the crime rate reduced by 30%. Now, a sister that was a sergeant sued, won $5 million. Then they had chiefs that she threatened, if you don't change the crime and recategorize them as something else, I'm gonna have you transferred to, like, they have phone recordings of her threatening people to reduce, to change whatever they report. Now that sister that sued, it was a dude that slashed his wife across the mouth. She put attempted murder, the sergeant did.
Mm.
Well, the chief went and changed that and basically changed it to um victim to hospital. Like, so basically it was an ambulatory call.
Mm.
And she was like, I sat there and did all this paperwork. So she blew the whistle and she sued and got 5 million. They was doing that all up in DC. So when the National Guard was activated to go up in there, and all these people down in North Carolina and people that don't even live in DC was saying, "Oh no, it's been reduced by 30% over the last year." It wasn't reduced. They was just finessing like, here's one of the things that they changed. It wasn't Marion Bowser, it was the city council. And they was telling the chief what to do. If you carjack somebody with a firearm in DC, that used to be a felony. A felonious carjacking. If you was under 20, if you was 25 or under, they changed that to misdemeanor car theft. So guess what? Guess what goes down in the statistics? Firearm carjackings. You follow what I'm saying? That's where they begin to switch. When they begin to finesse the system. Now she announced her retirement because she found out almost every captain under her in DC was interviewed, made statements, gave phone recordings in the meeting while she threatening them. They got their phones recording her. So she did the rights. Like, it ain't nothing she can say. They got her voice. They got memos. They got her. They got all the evidence. Now she can't go to prison for that, for finessing, but they can fire her, but they're not going to fire her with 25 plus years on the force. They're going to let her retire. Basically, that's what she's doing.
And
So
that's
I
that,
just
that kind
think,
of just
like,
prove what I was saying earlier, though. Like you said, here it is. They call her finessing these numbers, but how much of this stuff that we're seeing, that we're being pushed down, and stuff that we're seeing, how much of this stuff do we know that how do we know whether we're getting finessed or not? You know what I mean? Without
by
getting caught. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, see, there's two things. Anytime somebody collects data, you have quantitative data and qualitative data. The quantitative is, okay, let's look, Excel spreadsheet, this many homicides, this many shootings, this many carjackings, like, it's numbers. The qualitative data is you actually going out there speaking to people. Do you feel safe? Like all them people up there, just like the people in Memphis, they're like welcoming the National Guard. This black folks. I can finally walk around my neighborhood at night. They were saying that in DC. So the thing is, that's the qualitative. You have to find like a balance. That's why, like, when we would do studies and research in school, we would always have to have some form of qualitative and quantitative. We had to match them up to like come up with our thesis or the result of our study.
But how
So
do you find that medium? Because growing up in the hood, you got the same people. You do have some people that side with you and say the same exact thing. Like, yeah, I want to feel safe in my own neighborhood too. But you also have the same people in the same neighborhoods that don't believe in snitching, and they're not even a part of the community. One thing we talked about it on the show previously a while ago, a few years ago, but it's like that's what people don't fail to realize. We hear this word snitching a lot, but snitching does not apply to people that are not in the part of the life. Snitching applies for people that's in the life. That particular, like the street life.
mhm.
If you're not in the life, you're doing what people would call a civic duty. By if somebody shot your son, shot your child, and you know what I'm saying, you report it.
Mm.
But you see it so many times, the same people that's complaining about they want to feel safe in their neighborhoods, they don't have no relationship with the police. We scared to trust the police. You know what I mean? Police training. It's crazy to me that, and I believe if not all cities, the majority of the cities here in America, you have to you have to go to school longer to be a cosmetologist, like a hair, in hair care, than it does to be a law enforcement. There's something wrong with
Mm.
that to me. There's something wrong with that to me. I wouldn't trust police either. I don't trust police because of my own personal experience. But if they're supposed to protect and to serve, why is it that so many of our communities fear the police for the wrong reasons? If you're
Yeah.
not doing it, if you're not doing any crime, or you're not carrying and you have a license to carry or whatever the case may be, and you don't have no drugs on you, why would you feel threatened by seeing the police? That
Look,
doesn't make sense either.
this is an example right here. Like people talking about, how ICE is grabbing up people and, just they doing stuff, they breaking the law, they're Gestapo, they're all this. That congresswoman in Minneapolis, Ilhan Omar, they detained her son. She did an interview like 2 or 3 days ago. They detained her son, and she basically they was asking for the experience. What did he experience? She said, well, when they detained him, they basically said, we need to see him we need to see a form of ID. She said he showed them his passport, and the reporter's like, you have your son carry his passport around? And she said, yeah, we all carry most Somalis carry their passport with them as their identification.
Mhm.
So they said, well, what happened after he showed it? She's like, they let him go. The thing is when I see people like getting racked up, pulled out their car, if I drive up, I see blue lights behind me, I have my ID right in my armrest. I got a duplicate ID. Like when I get a ID driver license issue, I order 2 or 3 duplicates to put in one in each car, you know. And so that way I told my son he does that. So when they come up to the car, you ain't reaching in the glove box. You not doing. We shouldn't have to prepare people like that, but it's the world we live in. I'm not that sensitive to where I accept it. It ain't gonna change. So when that officer comes up to me and says, "Hey, roll down your window. I need to see your ID." I can either roll down my window, hand it to him. I don't got nothing to worry about, you know, or I can keep my window up and say, "No, F the police. You ain't what you do this, what you do, make this big thing out of nothing." So when I see certain things like this, they dragged this one lady, I think she was a nurse or something. They dragged her out the car because they asked her for her identification. They dragged her out. She went, they busted the window, opened the car, and they drug her out. And then she started saying, "I'm a citizen. My ID is in my purse in the seat." Why didn't you pull it out when they first asked you? You wait till you get drug out on the ground and get ready to get put in cuffs when you could have just easily just pulled out your ID to show them. So I just think, and that's not in every situation,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we're talking about people. Whether
Hmm.
you the person driving the car or you the law enforcement officer, everybody's a person. Everybody got stuff going on in their life.
Hmm.
I speak to the guys with the Wake County Sheriff's Office, some of the troopers, and they're like, they know some dudes that's burnt out. They don't need to, they want evaluations to be done annually.
Hmm.
Like they're like, man, when you do all these long shifts, somebody call in, somebody got to, pull the weight of whoever called in. And it's like, you get burnt out. You got family life, the stress of that. You could have health issues, you dealing with that. And then you're in a job where you literally may not come home. Like a firefighter, a police officer, any type of law enforcement. Like if you're a teacher, you leave out that morning saying, "Yeah, you're not thinking, okay, let me kiss all my family members because I may not make it home." But when you in law enforcement or you a firefighter, your chances like is stacked more against you that you may not return. So you just think about all that stress. So me, I'm I'm
I hear what
like,
you're saying, but I think it's subjective because one, that's a job that you signed up for. That's first and foremost. And I used to always say that too. Like I remember watching movies like Backdraft, and I know quite a few, especially back home. I know quite a few firefighters. They say that I know people that don't retire from being firefighters, that have been firefighters for 20 years. Some of them went a whole 20-year career and never even seen a fire. It's not as dangerous as we think it is to be. You know what I mean? And I'm not excusing nobody's behavior, whether it's a citizen or the police. But I worked in the airline industry for it's just as dangerous as being a cop. You could get sucked around with them engines. You could anything could happen on that ramp. Like literally anything could happen. You could lose your life just like that. From whether it's a a, 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 a plane being started in the wrong area and it blows a can. Dude lost his whole hand from something like that there, and just all these different kind of incidents that you see in the airport that'll never make the news because they don't want people panicking. But it's a dangerous environment. That's why when you work at out at the airport, you hear something more than you hear anything else, and that's safety first because you have to be aware of your surroundings because you just never know. Um, But as far as I want to get to some of these comments too before they disappear. Sam, Drew says, "Sam, you got some of that military stuff in your crib."
yeah,
Mark Two said,
Daniel
"Take all the
Defense.
guns, then you'll be stabbings just like the UK." I hear that too, but I rather be stabbed than shot. I don't want to be neither one, but I would rather be stabbed than shot.
No, I'm gonna tell you, stab. Do you know the number one cause of death, violent deaths, is from knives?
It depends
So
on where you get stabbed at, just like it depends on where you get shot at.
yeah, but the thing is, like you look at the thing is like you're more likely to be stabbed than you are to be shot here in America. Like
Mhm.
the number of deaths from a shotgun, a rifle, or even a handgun is is like a third of what the deaths come from knives and blunt force trauma. And when you get hit with a knife, the way that thing slices is completely different. Like a bullet, when that bullet hit your skin, it impacts the way it impacts is so quick that sometimes the round, depending on how many grains you got, you know, how many grains to propel that thing, how hot it is, that it can actually still the bleeding.
Mhm.
You know, like when it goes through. And that's why so many people die from stabbings.
Mhm.
Is because it when it going slow, the body it doesn't have time to like heal like that around something like that. When you get
Then
hit
you
with
up
that,
close and personal. Because most,
when you
most most of the time, people don't get stabbed from being stabbed one time. It's usually multiple stabbings. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. To me, stabbing is stabbing. Like whether it's once or twice, I just know the numbers from people that die from stabbings is triple of what it is from guns.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about let's ban these Benchmade knives, let's ban these Kershaws or these
Hmm.
Case knives.
That's a good.
If
That's a
more
valid point.
homicides come from it, if assault weapons is supposed to be the issue, why are you going after something that's only a third of what homicides from something else is? How come you're not going after the knives? It's illegal to carry a knife. You know, that's what don't make sense. So when you have people, what you were saying earlier, how do we know? Is like anytime you have people involved in putting in the data, guess what? It could be changed.
Absolutely. And
User
that's my
error.
point.
That's for anything.
I don't
But
trust any of it.
and that's
Period.
like when something is reported, like when everybody was talking about when they showed the picture of the white dude that they thought did the shooting at Brown University. Come to find out, the picture that the news was showing wasn't even the guys. It was a different photo. But they wanted that perception of a military dude because he looked a little bit more military or he looked more than the actual guy that they was questioning. And the news didn't even recant that. They didn't even say, "Oh, we made a mistake," because soon as people saw the picture of that dude, the wrong dude, people started attacking him. He started getting stuff at his house. You know,
And that's my whole point. We don't know. We don't know the wrong dude from the right dude. All we know is what we being told. And that's part of the problem, in my opinion. Because
yeah, but we
if they're
also
not
have to
actually
stop
there,
listening.
huh?
We gotta be so quick. We gotta stop being so quick to listen as soon as something happens. When
Hmm.
when that thing at Brown happened, I wrote a few notes down because I'm like, okay, we probably talk about it on the winners podcast. And I said, let me make sure I have myself straight. Well, somebody that's in the podcast in our discussion group put in there, oh yeah, a white dude, um, a white super mega guy, all the homicides or mass shootings is by white dudes. I'm sitting there, okay, where's your dad at? I pull up the FBI crime database, which everything is based off, and I'm like, they don't even list political affiliation. But she was saying that. So I'm like, just don't say anything just to say it. Wait for information to be released. Wait for stuff to come out. And it's the same thing as this. Like when I see the silhouette of the shooter for Brown that they caught on somebody's ring camera, he was pacing. I could tell you right now, the way he is, he's Asian, like Indian Asian, because the way he
The
had
fat
his hand,
dude,
huh?
the fat dude. Hold up, because
No,
I got it on YouTube playing all these different clips now with who they saying the suspect is. This dude don't look Asian. You can't. First of all, his face is covered, so you can't really tell what he is.
no. What I'm saying, this is the reason a lot of people don't know why they show those videos. When they show those videos, yeah, everything's covered, but somebody in his family or somebody knows him, knows his style, the way he walks, know his mannerisms when he like when people from India agree with you, they do this. They don't say yeah, they do their hair like this. You can YouTube it. Indians nodding their heads and they'll show the different way. The happier they are, the more they do like that. When he walks around and he has his hand behind his back, that's what Asians do. That's what Indians do. My neighbors do that when they're walking around the front yard. So when I say Asian, you got to remember also what is Asian. I'm going by geography. Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, every stan is an Asian country. Russia is an Asian country. That whole part is all Asia. So the thing is like that's why they release it. People like, why are they showing the video and they don't have the face? They're showing the video because they're hoping that somebody can
Will
can pick up.
identify him. Yeah.
Because my wife knows how I walk. She's like, your brother and your sister, all y'all walk the same. That's what they're hoping, that they get some hints or some clues, some calls, because they're hoping that somebody recognizes the mannerisms.
I hear you. I'm waiting to see. I'm gonna wait to see. But that sort of like white man it is with me. The walk and everything else.
Yeah, and white mannerisms will yell Allah Akbar and shoot a and shoot somebody after they yell that too.
And that's what I'm saying though. If I'm a part of a mass movement or whatever the case, or some undercover politics, of course, to throw everybody off track. That's just like when you're in the game. You don't want to make it easy for police to come lock you up. You know what I mean? You try to stay one step ahead of them. Why
Yeah,
not?
but that's the thing. You don't know, like it's video camera from somebody's doorbell ring camera. He was like blocks away when that was taken on video. The thing is like, yeah, I understand, because the first thing you do is you want to dip if you're thinking about that. But when you take somebody's life, a lot of times you're not focused on the getaway. Everything is like, you hear some sirens, you hear like you in panic mode. So I don't think I just think that we so quick now to be the first to like tweet or TikTok to do all this stuff about something, but then when it's proven wrong, guess what? No accountability.
Yeah,
I
and
literally
that's
told
in
you
general.
they
That's definitely
showed,
not me though.
but they showed the wrong guy's face, and that guy got docs, threats, and all that, and not one media outlet came out and said we apologize, it was the wrong photo.
Hmm. And that I agree with you on that because I'm one of those people. I have no problem saying I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm definitely wrong. I'm not. I'm never going to say I'm not wrong or just not avoid it or not talk about it.
Mhm.
Um, Drew said. Mark Two said, "I hear what y'all saying, but I'd rather be safe than feel safe. There's a big difference. I agree with you, but it's funny that you said that too. I got to send you this video. I just seen a video earlier this week with this dude. This dude got his gun taken from him. He got caught slipping and got his gun taken from him. Thank God that the dude ain't shooting with his own gun, but how you gonna have somebody take your gun from you, bro? You got to be more aware of your surroundings, man. Drew said, y'all don't feel a way being Americans and got to go through that. I'm not sure what that meant. Stabbed is way worse, bro. I agree. Like I said, it depends, especially depends on what. All right, so that's what I was saying. There's a difference between being stabbed and stabbing. like, like if
I'll
you get
put it
stabbed one time, that's one time. But if they stabbing you, of course you is it's going to do more damage. But it
if you
depends,
talk
like I
to
said, it depends on where it's at too. What
yeah, but
arteries it hit.
if you talk to any operator in the military and ask them if you got a choice, would you rather be stabbed or shot? Every one of them will say shot. You have more of a chance of living if you're a shot because that round goes through you so fast. It
Mm-hmm.
self-cauterizes like oh you seen like the movies where somebody get an arrow and stuff and they heat the knife up and burn it to keep the the blood from coming out to seal it. Most rounds automatically do that when they go through. Like if it goes like straight through here, my chest, and goes out my back, it's an in and out. Oh, good chance you're gonna live. The issue where people pass away from gunshots, unless of course it hits a vital organ, is when it gets stuck inside the body,
Yeah,
and the body begins to treat it. Have you ever had like a piece of popcorn? You eating popcorn, and that kernel sticks. Part of the kernel sticks between your gum and your tooth,
I
and
can
next thing
imagine what
you
you're saying. I
know,
don't eat popcorn though, but I imagine what you
but
say. What you
but your
mean?
gum flares up
Yeah,
or you get a splinter, a tiny little half a millimeter splinter in your finger, and that
okay.
thing hurts. Is like
Hold up,
that's
too. I thought you said stabbing was worse. Two said this guy was getting shot with the 5.7 by 28 rounds, and he asked the guy to please stop shooting him, not because he was dying. It was because the bullets was going so fast through his body. It was more painful than anything.
I
So that
think
would
that's
mean that was more painful than a stabbing.
I think he's trolling with that one right there.
Oh, that's one of my good friends. Sam, too says Sam. That's facts about how they move their heads. y'all ain't gonna be doing no racist conversations on the Marvin Bennett Jr. show,
It,
man.
man, it ain't racist. My wife get on me because when I was talking to my neighbors, like the mother comes from India like for 6 months, and then
Mm,
she'll leave for 6 months, and she'll come back. And now when I talk to her and she says something, I'll do my head like that because I know it makes her feel more comfortable. Like when I say namaste, she says namaste back, I'll do like that. And she smiles. So it's
I
like
do not support it. I do not support this. All Mexicans do not drink Modelo or tequila for that matter. I know Mexicans that don't drink, so we're not going to stereotype everybody in the generalizations. But I wanted to get into because I got to go soon. I wanted to get in some of this Rob Reiner, man. Oh, you talked about the accountability. Did you send that? Did you see the? I know y'all had used a picture for the boat when we talk about the drugs. When y'all talking about the drugs
mhm.
that was transported over. Someone sent me the same picture of that, and they were saying that it was supposed to be medical supplies. Did you see that? That it wasn't drugs at all.
It wasn't medical supplies. Let me tell you why. International waters, right? A boat, a regular boat goes around, I would say 30 to 45 knots. That is not fast as all, just steady. When you look at that photo, look at the motors on that. They are Honda 450R outboard motors. One of those motors, you can't find one less than 55,000 for one. Them boats got two, three, and four of those. 200K on the back of a 25-foot boat. Ain't nothing fishing about that. It ain't no thing where you got 55-gallon blue drums because the blue drums blend into the water. So when they what happens is they move it towards the maritime boundaries from the US territories, like US Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, you know, They get there and then they push them over, tag with GPS, and they sit there and float for the person to come from Puerto Rico to come and pick the load up. So the thing is, they're speeding to that spot. A regular boat don't you don't look see no live tanks, you don't see no rods, you don't see no nets. That's
My
why
bad. My bad. I got to correct myself. It wasn't saying that it was medical supplies. It was saying that it was gas. It was gasoline.
gas for what?
I don't know. I don't
Exactly.
put it like this. I'm gonna be real. I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend to care. You know what I mean? Because I really don't. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I don't know what the people was doing or what they were transporting. I ain't never heard nobody say that they was fishing. That's why me and Drew was talking about that. I was talking about a little bit earlier. A lot of people, especially a lot of church folk, you know, they got their panties in a bunch because I posted part of that sermon, one of the Geno's Jennings sermon, talking about Christmas and the decorations and the lights and your pastor a liar, your mama is a liar. He was doing that too. But it's like Mace always say, two things can be true at the same time. I know that Jesus' birthday wasn't on December 25th. And I do believe that a lot of the rituals and stuff that we do is like my issue is this, and it's just my opinion, right? So I'm cool with that. I'm not saying that it's the right or is the way to think or way to be. A lot of the traditions, especially when it comes to these holidays and certain practices, a lot of it is paganism. You know what I mean? Now, even though you debunking that, I've been in these churches, and some of these same churches that got Christmas trees up or whatever else. To me, you cross the line when you trying to prove your point by saying your pastor is a liar, saying that Jesus was born on December 25th. I have never heard a preacher preach that Jesus was born on December. Now I get what you're saying, but I have never heard those words. You know what I mean? So I've always said this. I don't have anything against Christmas or the practices and the lights and the however you want to do, however you want to spend your holiday. My personal opinion is though that they should be completely separated. I have issue with that. Like you say, when you read the passages of scripture, when it talks about chopping down the trees and don't make no idolatry, don't have no other guys, and don't be sprinkling all because all of that was paganism. Why would you Drew said, "All right, so Drew, all right, that's your experience. Me personally, I have never heard no preacher say that Jesus was born on December 25th. Because in fact, most of the preachers that I know that he wasn't born on December 25th. But yet we still honor that day as that day. They know that they don't say that because they know it not to be true. The calendar was totally different in that particular time. You know what I mean? So concept of time, the calendar, the dates, the way we measure time, all that was totally different then. So there's no accurate way of finding out when Jesus' birthday was actually born. And one of the things that I've always said when it comes to that, people always say, "Well, why is it such a big deal for you to prove it wrong, or you to, you to whatever on how other people want to celebrate whatever." I don't care. I'm just talking about as what the Bible say. As for me and my household, I wasn't ever when they wanted to put a Christmas tree up. This is not my house. You know what I mean? I might be the head of the household, but if this is what y'all really want to do, fine. I'm not taking any part of it. I'm be sitting on the couch with my remote control because I don't honor that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not decorating my house. I'm not putting no Christmas tree up. I'm not putting no lights up. Now, if it was two completely separated things, then I wouldn't have no issue with it. My thing is when they try to blend both of them around. And I know somebody out there is watching this or thinking might say, well, how is music any different? I don't think music is no different because music is a spirit as well. So, as good as it may sound, And as simple as you might not take it, or it might not be no issue to you, I have a problem when we take circular songs. There's no way in the world I could take Ric Flair. I said Ric Flair. Rick James, Jesus Bad Mama Jamma, and put Jesus Christ as the answer. He died for you and me. Ain't no way in the world you gonna hear my remix of that same song and not be enticed by that spirit, or know if you heard that original song. You know what I'm saying? That's why, as a musician, we used to laugh all the time back in the day. Statute of limitations is over, but it was funny back in the day when I would be playing the drums and I would hit like a special ed, I got it made beat, dum dum dum, in the middle of a quiet song or something from hip hop. I would do it in church. You know what I'm saying? And the people were, oh, that sounds good, boy. You doing it? They don't even know where it's coming from, though. You see what I'm saying? You can't take something that's tainted and call it holy. I don't care. I don't care how you slice the pie. You can't take something that, you can put your little spin on it however you want to, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I don't believe. All right, so this is the way I look at it, right? And my mom, who was a pastor, I used to tell her like this: if your birthday is in June on her birthday, why in the world would I let the world celebrate her life and all that she did on December 1st? Just because it's convenient and that's what everybody else. No, I'm gonna go out my way to keep rectifying this. Like, no, this is not when we're gonna celebrate my mother's birthday. That wasn't her birthday. You know what I mean? Her birthday was in June. Why are we going to wait to Memorial Day weekend? Because it's not as hot and it's not as cold and it's the perfect time of year. I don't buy that. I don't subscribe that. Drew said, two said, I'm with you, Marv. I stopped celebrating holidays since I was 18. It was just my choice. I only celebrate birthdays. How can one separate it when the universal meaning is the birth of Christ? And that's all right. So, Drew, and I'm not debating with you. I'm just answering the question. Oh, okay. Before I get to that, Drew, let me go back to the point that I was making. If Jesus' birthday, as a Christian, as a believer, those that believe in Christ, if Jesus' birthday was that important, don't you think that he would have left that for us? That's just a rhetorical question. But I think it wouldn't be so much mystery around it. Just like we have the commandments and we have the miracles and this here and that there. But how can you separate it when the meaning is the birth of Christ? I don't believe in that, Jew. As much as I love one of my favorite songs by the Winans, Jesus is not the reason for the season. Like, that's what we adapted. So if that's what you believe, that's cool. But they can be separated by us exposing the truth. So, just like anything else. What it is living in a capitalistic society, they saying all the money that they can make. Same thing. I was having a discussion with my guy brother about the same thing with Juneteenth. Only reason that they promoting Juneteenth like that now is because they found another way that they could capitalize on it. You know what I mean? And make money off of it. That's what it all comes down to. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with the stuff. Y'all can celebrate the birth of Christ all y'all want to. Make sure y'all bring y'all money over here in these stores and get all the gifts and all the presents and everything else. That's what it's really about. So you can tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself, Santa Claus and all this other kind of stuff. But the capitalistic society, like, yo, long as y'all bringing us y'all money, you don't really care. And I always talk about it when it comes to, we talked about it on here a couple of times, saying, like with Black Wall Street, how do we get back to that? With Black Wall Street and Wilmington, North Carolina in the early 1900s, where they had their own newspaper, blacks had their own hospitals. Black was self-sufficient in certain cities. Atlanta was like that at once upon a time. You didn't have to go into the white communities. You know what I mean? We had our own colleges, had our own high schools and everything else. And the black community was thriving. The reason that we can't go back to that is because they won't let us. They don't care about equal rights for blacks, but they want us to keep spending our money with them. Because if we keep all our money in the black community supporting one another, and guess what? That messes with their bottom line. And we're not trying to go for the Bezos and them. They're not trying to go back. The people that own Walmart's, the War family out there in Arkansas, they're not trying to go back to the times where it was just, they don't want just white money. They want all the money. So that's part of the problem, or part of the difficult part when you talk about celebrating. A fat white man come down my chimney, he getting shot. I know that's right. And that's the point that I be making. And I didn't really think about it until I got like maybe in my mid-20s. But I used to think about that. Like, yo, why would you want your kids going to sit on a stranger's lap? Like, you don't know if this dude is a pervert. You don't know if this dude is a molester. He getting his rocks off. You know what I mean? Like, even when I was a kid, my parents ain't never let me believe in those Santa, in the Santa Claus and all that kind of stuff there. I ain't never fall for the okie doke. And I'd raise my boys the same way. Because people always say, well, now you're robbing them of a childhood and all that there. I would feel more pissed off as an adult if I came to find out that the Tooth Fairy wasn't real and the Easter Bunny wasn't real. Why you let me believe this stuff in the first place if it's a lie? And you know it's a lie. I'm going to be looking at my parents sideways. You know what I'm saying? Just me. Drew said, I love that because after studying it, I was done with it. The apostles never done it. Not even his mother. Tradition is hard to break for some, bro. And that's see, there you go right there, Drew. Self-admittance. That's the part that we don't want to do. A lot of us, what he saying, a few good men, you can't handle the truth. A lot of us don't want to handle the truth, even though when we come to find out things that are not necessarily true. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons, me personally, I read what you said, Drew. I mean, not Drew too, when you said you celebrate your birthday. I've never really been into celebrating my birthday. That's just me. Because as a believer and a follower of Christ, I'm like, if I didn't know what his birthday was and he didn't make a big deal about his birthday, then if I'm supposed to be Christ-like, why am I making such a big deal about my birthday? You know what I mean? Like, most of the time on my birthday, what I do is I go to my favorite restaurant, IHOP, get my favorite breakfast. I go catch me a matinee. You know what I'm saying? If I celebrate it, I celebrate. If I don't, it's not that big of a deal to me, especially the older that I get. You know what I mean? I appreciate life every single day. That's why I say the same thing when it comes to the birth of Christ, the birth and the death of Christ. I celebrate that every single day. So Christmas is no special day for me. The Resurrection Sunday, that's not a big day for me. I've seen even preachers preach about that when it comes to Easter. Well, he got up on Sunday morning. All right, well, if he went down on Thursday, then you know what I mean? I'm not even really going down that rabbit hole right now. But there's even controversy that there. Wouldn't it be 3 days later be Monday? Depends on how the clock is and when you get to study and all this kind of stuff. So you got to be real careful. But like you said, Drew, that's the part. As a saying, when you know better, you do better. So that's part of it. And if you still choose to support it and do that, that's your right. But don't ignore the fact that, like Sam was talking about earlier, take accountability for it. Say, I don't see any harm in it. So I'm gonna watch my Hallmark movies and watch my Christmas movie because I love it. I love the feeling. I love the joy in the year, and I love the songs and all that there too. Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire is one of my favorite songs all time. I don't just wait the Christmas time to listen to it. I love Nat King Cole's voice and the way he sings that song. I'm sorry. Just like Silent Night by the Temptations, I will be ready to put a bullet in you if you play that song around me. I absolutely hate it. It drives me insane. So I love the Christmas music songs and everything. I get all of that there too, the festivities of it. But let's stop trying to tie one in the same because they're not. All of this stuff is based. It comes from paganism, and you can't, like I said, you can't take something that's tainted and call it holy. I don't care how you try to slice it up or however you look at it. Can't be done. Cannot be done. But I wanted to get into a little bit of Rob Reiner, man, before we got up out of here, because me personally, as much as I can't stand racism, All in the Family was definitely by far one of my favorite, one of the greatest shows in television history as far as I'm concerned. And people be surprised when they hear me say that. Man, how you be watching stuff like that? There, I say I love it because Archie, as strong as he convicted, is like I was just talking about these holidays. When you hear Archie speak, the more ignorant he sounds, and it makes it believable. In the same regards, not I won't say go as far as saying the same regard. Like people laugh at me and people look at me sideways when I get to talk about Trump. I tell people all the time, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I'm also not a Trump hater. I just think Donald Trump is downright hilarious to me. Like, I don't even believe that he believes half of the stuff that comes out of his mouth. It's just entertainment value to me. It's like if you actually do believe the stuff that you coming out of mouth, you're a bigger fool than I thought you were. Because it's hilarious to me. But Rob Reiner, Mike Stevick, Meathead, as he passionately called them on there, he was something special. We're not even talking about just All in the Family, just the different movies that he directed and he produced. He was a big part of culture, period, and a big part of I like his contribution to society when it comes to film and the arts and what have you. And I like the way that he used his voice. Didn't necessarily agree with everything that he believed or he said, but I like people like that. I like when people are willing to stand on their convictions or stand up for what they believe, whether it's right, wrong, and indifferent. I love to see people stand as opposed to just standing back in the shadows and just taking it as it go along and just I'm gonna just mind my business and worry about me and mine. I like when he make I like a lot of the stances that he would take. But it was heartbreaking to me to find out that his life and his wife's life was taken at the hands of their child, like their son. And we still waiting for more details to come in at the time, you know what I mean? But one of the things that I heard was that on Saturday night, they were attending a party at Conan O'Brien's house with a bunch of other people or whatever. And some of the witnesses that were there were saying that they had a real heated exchange. The son Nick and Rob had a real heated exchange at the party, and people were like kind of worried, like what's really going on because it wasn't like them to be showing out like this, especially out at someone else's home. Things of that nature. There, then this was Saturday night, Sunday evening. The daughter goes to check on her parents or goes to see her parents and find the bodies there. So it's just a real unfortunate situation, man. And I know how you feel about Trump, uh, Sam. But one of the things that, and I didn't
Why
find,
you why
I didn't
you
find,
put why you put me on the spot like that?
because I will let you talk in a minute. I'm just messing with you. But
Man,
one of
you
the
just
one, so one of the things about it though, and I said everything I said jokingly about Trump. I do really find him hilarious. I do. I really do. Um, but I didn't find that funny at all. For him to, I, and everybody's entitled to how they feel. I just think that when somebody is deceased, um, you leave that alone. You leave that alone. For him to take shots at Rob Reiner and he's not here to defend himself, I thought that was pretty tasteless and classless. And I meant to pull up the quote so I could have it, but I shared it on my page earlier because one of the people had asked him about him, and he was saying something about he's deranged and he had the he had was a part of the hoax in Russia, and he said I was a friend in this here and that thing. He was a very bad actor, and like yo, come on, man, you can't say that the dude was a bad actor or he wasn't talented just because you don't agree with what he's saying about you. you but and then it ended all with a rest in peace. Like, come on, man. Like, what's the word you like to use, Sam? Trolling. That's the new word these days. Like, come on, man. You're not supposed to troll dead people, man. I didn't find that um I didn't find that funny at all for him to take a shot at him. But what was your thoughts on Rod Reiner overall, man?
I don't really remember after 2013, 14.
Mm-hmm.
I think I didn't really hear from him after that. Now, I'm with you with the Archie Bunker and just TV from that time. Good time. Just you could say retarded, you could say gay, you can say like, and nobody feelings was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember episode of Archie Bunker. Well, All in the Family. Archie,
Yeah.
when his boys was playing a joke on him. And then while he was in the bed, because everybody knew he was racist,
Mm-hmm.
like that was his character.
Talking about when he's in the hospital.
No, when he was in the bed in his room and they had a party. I guess he was a Mason,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He couldn't get
and
out.
then
He
they
messed
got
his
that
back
black girl to get in the bed with him, and it woke up and she was like, "Oh, I tonight was." He was like, "Well, lady, whatever was good for you, it can't happen again." Like it was just I missed that time of TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what, like Sanford and Son, just Good Time, just all those shows back then. Like it was where people weren't scared.
And it wasn't so
It
sensitive.
yeah, like now it's like, oh, you can't say that, and you can't like you have to say on social media unalive. You gotta use all these different terms, but
DVSA and all. Yeah,
me
it's a bunch of nonsense to me.
but when it comes to like what was said, um I completely think it was out of pocket. Not necessarily that it was more like sarcasm, like it ended with the sarcasm. But the thing is like I think it should have been held. Like now I understand because they used to be good friends. You know, they used to be real cool back in the days. But I think Trump was hot because he's like, dude, I hope like we was boys. Just like when like I think how he feels about Oprah. He's like, I financed your Oprah Winfrey show, because nobody wanted to give you a shot. And now you just turn your back on me. So I look at that as like I remember seeing one of the last things I saw of Reiner was him on a talk show, and he was a guest and he was talking about uh his thing was just about whatever Hillary is saying, but it was like Trump is working with Russia and all this stuff. Like he
Mhm.
completely I think that's why I really hadn't seen like a decent movie or him produce something decent. LBJ was okay. I think that was like 2016, 2017,
Mhm.
but it wasn't something you go to the movies to see, but I just think that he put so much time and effort into going after Trump that Trump's like, this dude became like crazy, like Jimmy Kimmel. Same thing. I used to love watching his things, but now every time he get up, it's just about Trump. And I'm like, dude, I'm turning to you to laugh, to like, you know, say some jokes, get Guamo, to do some skits, and it gets to a point where only in the black community we want our leaders to be our entertainers, our athletes. It's only in our community. And it's like somebody asked me about how I felt about Trump I think it was like this morning or last night. And I said, look, I said, I don't I understand he a troll, and to be honest, what he said to me was out of pocket. He could have went without saying that. But at the end of the day, he is who he is. And somebody was like, well, you support him? I said, well, I never support a politician. I look at policies. That's what I support. Like, or I'm not saying that's what I support. That's what I vote for. I
Mm.
vote for policies. I don't vote for personality. I don't want Kamala to come to the cookout. I don't want Trump to come to the cookout. I don't vote for them because of that. I focus on your policy. Again, what he said was out of pocket. I'm not even going to say no president should ever say that. No person should ever say that. The timing was just horrible. Like
God awful.
he have said stuff about Reiner in the past that was
Exactly.
criminal.
And I ain't tripping.
But
Y'all want to go back and forth? I'm cool with that, but you got
yeah,
to leave
but
me
the
dead
thing
alone.
is, but that's the thing. Like I can guarantee you this. Like you put yourself in in Trump's mindset. Well, I know that's kind of weird to do, but you put yourself
I
in his
can't. I
mindset.
refuse to. I might not come back.
And you imagine everybody, people calling you Hitler, calling you this, calling you that, one impeaching you, um, saying you doing this and that, and like everything you do is under a microscope.
Mm.
And like Stephen A. Smith said, I watch Stephen A. sometimes. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's like, they threw everything at this cat, everything. Impeach him, jail, mug shots, all of that, like everything, just to keep him from running again. And what did that do? Every time they did it, donations coming in, everything coming in. If you want to beat them, just beat them. Get somebody that's has a reputation that can actually go. Because right now, the way it's looking, they're gonna have Trump 2.0, JD Vance. Because ain't nobody battle tested right now on the other side to run against Vance. He will eat everybody up. He's a dang on litigator attorney. Like he's gonna. So they should be preparing for that. So I definitely think Trump it was out of pocket for that. The timing was just horrible. But at the same time, I tell people to go to the White House TikTok, go to the White House Instagram account. Whoever is running that, he is the master. He is the king of trolling. He like the white version of 50 Cent.
I was about to ask you too. You said that only the black community is the one that like entertain us. How can you say that when we got Trump, Mr. Apprentice, and Ronald Reagan?
I
Wasn't
mean,
whole
you can say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, the only reason why he ain't run for president because he wasn't born in the
he
U.S.
wasn't born here. Yeah, yeah.
But he definitely, if he had run for president, he probably would have won. But
That's
the
what I'm
thing is,
saying. You were saying like the only black people are the ones that want to see entertainment, but I'm like, not with Ronald Reagan being voted in, and like you say, Schwarzenegger. So black,
yeah, I
I
mean, but
would agree that black people are the only ones that want to see entertainers. As
no, when I said that, what I'm talking about is like for us, I feel that they want to just put people down our throat. Like me and you have had this conversation before. I try to watch the WNBA. I try, but all them general contractors out on that court laying them bricks. It's like I try to support, but they gonna dang on shove Angel Reese down my throat, say that she this, say that she that. They're gonna try to do all this, and I'm like in Michael Jordan's mind frame. Jordan ain't never say he was the GOAT. He never said he was the greatest of all time. He didn't do it. The last thing he talked about, he didn't do a logo. His logo was based off his body of work. Now everybody, they want their body of work to be based off their logo. He's like, everybody got a logo. Everybody, like they are gonna force Angel Reese, and they try to compare her to Dennis Rodman. I said Dennis Rodman shot over 50%. That's what Angel Reese 32% for all layups. You know, like it's like don't try
And
to
then
compare.
for me,
Don't try to.
just good, good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't try to like shove stuff like when Kamala got all those entertainers to where, well, I'm not gonna say she got when she paid all those entertainers, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Oprah, like all those people to like endorse her and support her. She had to pay them to do it. They didn't do it freely. That's that what Drake got that song Fake Love. That's what if I gotta pay you to say something good about me, something wrong, that's not support. So when it comes to Trump, I don't look at him like that. He was president before, and had COVID not happened, I know people that was die hard against him. I have brothers tell me this dude, last name Peacock, he told me he rather the U.S. burn down before he see Trump do anything good. He said he rather people starve before Trump do anything good. I said, dude, I can't talk to you no more talking like that. Like the thing is, look what he did. When he left office, inflation was at 1.9%. 1.9. It's like 2.8 now. When Biden took office, inflation ran up to 9%. So the thing is I think I give him a B minus for his first administration. I give him a B minus for this administration. As long as he's doing like what, like everybody, like I heard people saying, oh yeah, all them Trump supporters or people that voted him, everybody saying they regretted their vote. I ain't hear one person say that, because everything that cat said ran on, that's what he did. He ran on closing the border. That's what he did. He ran on deporting. That's what he did. He ran on cutting the size of the government. That's what he did. So it's like, ain't nobody regretting what they voted, because that's what he ran on. So when I hear people like, I don't look at him as an entertainer because he has been president. You know, I know he's entertaining, he's funny. Like you said, like, do you know the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia? Nobody is allowed to touch him. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody can touch him.
Queen of England either.
But who's the only person that has touched the Crown Prince? Trump. And guess what he do? He smack him in the arm, smack him in the back. He tap his shoulder as he walked past. So he, you know, like he jokes with him.
Michael Jackson got to touch the Queen.
Oh yeah,
Even though he was
you talking
supposed to.
about Diana and Prince Charles got in the
And
Prince
the
Charles
Queen, yeah,
said
because
something
Prince
to him.
Charles got bad. Yeah, like, yo, stop touching
Yeah,
my wife, man.
Charles didn't like that. But that's the thing right there is I think we put too much focus, and what I said, it has to have some truth to how they believe, because what did Hillary Clinton do? She threw a concert till 4:30 in the morning. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Lady Gaga came. She had all these entertainers there throwing a concert. What did Kamala do? through this concert, Megan Thee Stallion, yeah, yeah, whatever that, singing Chinese. And I'm sitting there like, that all? It's almost like the BET Awards. They used to have black jazz players, black country, black opera, black. Now it's just black trap music.
I do agree that they pander to the black demographic, which I don't like when it comes to the
No,
Democratic
but
Party.
they do policy for other people, but for us, oh, let me just get so
They
and
just
so
want
to
your
dance,
vote.
and
They
that's
just
it.
want your vote. But
And
I had to bring it up because I've seen different things on TikTok and Instagram as well. There are a lot of people out there. You might not be one of them, but there are a lot of people out there that are taking back. They wish they could take their vote back. I'm just
send
saying
me
that's what they're saying.
one that actually voted for him. Shoot me one in my messages
Okay,
so I can see it.
I trust me. I got it for you.
Because I hear a whole lot of people saying, "Oh, people that voted for Trump come up to me every day." And say, I'm like, stop lying. I'm like, they did polls, and I think 92% of the people that voted for him said that they happy, and
All right, I'm gonna shoot
that
something
was
to you.
a CNN poll, and CNN don't like him. Their poll had 92%.
Well, I told you I'm skeptical with all of them things anyway. I don't believe.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
but
trust
I'm
none of
just
them.
saying, like,
Yeah,
if
but
anything's gonna be biased, it's gonna be a network that don't like you. Because most of the people that they poll aren't gonna be like, it's not likely that they're gonna be, go in your favor. But I just think we focus too much on the wrong stuff. Like we focus people focusing on, okay, these drug boats getting hit. Well, focus on your community. Last weekend, 15 people got shot in Chicago. 4 died. One was a 6-year-old kid and a 11-year-old kid. Nobody ain't heard nothing about it. What about in Baltimore the weekend before that? Mass shooting. You ain't hear nothing about no mass shooting. I think 16 people got shot. You don't hear nothing about it. They got us black folks so trained to focus on everybody but us.
mhm. Or to say that just I don't think I hear what you're saying. I just don't think that that's just a black thing. Because it's funny what I was talking about. Like I said, I'm gonna definitely send you some of them. But I noticed that it's funny that I would hear white people double back and say that they wish they could take their vote back, but all the black people or Latino people that might feel that way, they just stay quiet. Like everybody's not active about it no more. They'll have that private conversation, but they ain't gonna go on record. And like we were talking about earlier, I think a lot. I think we get a lot more farther. I think we have better conversations when people get to say, you know what, I was wrong, or I see things differently 6 months later than I did seeing 6 months ago. Because that opens up dialogue to show us that we all human. I don't see enough of that. Like even with who was it? Somebody had sent me a video of somebody, talking about I don't do that clown either. Dr. Umar. I don't know. I ain't gonna call him a clown. I don't know what he be talking about.
He's entertaining though.
But he was talking about how he doesn't support black people tearing other people down or exposing other black people. And I'm talking about the whole Diddy documentary. I gotta really get it ready to go. But it's funny to me, like I watched the whole documentary. I actually watched it twice. I wasn't shown anything that I had heard or known before.
Mhm.
That is not called. That's not exposing anything to me. You know what I'm saying? Now might understand that other people, some people might have not been privy to everything. People haven't, but dude, it was a whole big thing about Biggie wanting to leave. Drew said he died. Not know who I got 5 snow buddies. I would not be surprised, Joe. I would not be surprised, not one single bit. And matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, I stand corrected too. I apologize for assuming that Michigan coach was married to a black woman. He cheated with a white woman, but he was married. He married to a white woman as well. Not that that's relevant or anything, but I just assumed that he was married to a sister. Don't make it no less or whatever. But like, dude, you're not exposing anything. That's why they was coming big and then was coming up with the commits. Supposed to be big. Charlie Baltimore, Little C's, and one of on Vera. Because Big was tired of the Puffy shenanigans. From a business standpoint, I just literally had this conversation last night at work. What bothers me when it comes to this record industry, and I'm guilty of it as well. But I don't understand how we could be the white man this here and that there. All they do is this here and that there. Even Michael Jackson, he broke the world record when he got 7 cents out of $1. Nobody else got that in the music history. So wrong, so wrong, so wrong. But we still out here buying tapes. We were still out here buying CDs, albums, and everything else. Feeding these same people that we saying holding us down, robbing their artists for money. Why is it bad? Why is it wrong for Clive Davis to do that? But it's not wrong for Puffy, Russell Simmons,
Jay-Z,
Babyface,
that girl the girl that Jay-Z just signed, in her contract, it says she cannot have any relationships, can't have a boyfriend, can't do this. And I'm like, isn't that what is it where all them women will wear the red? It's some series, what is it called?
Handmaid and stuff?
Yeah. And basically you just want her to put out music, but she can't have any type of relationship. All of her calls are monitored.
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff is that?
Like, and that's my thing. That's my point. Like, wrong is wrong. I don't care if it's wrong for Clive Davis to do it. I don't want to see no black record labels doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Robbing a artists and everything else. It don't make it no better because I got a black dude. A slave master is a slave master, whether he white or black.
Yeah.
And if you robbing me, I don't care what color you are. I don't want to be robbed. So we gotta, and like Drew was asking me earlier, how can you separate the two? I look at that as the perfect example for me personally when I think about the music industry. When I think back to the late 80s, when Luke was going through everything that he was going through and fighting for his right, I supported that because it's right. You should be able to rap about whatever you want to rap about. You should be able to say whatever you want to say and all the First Amendment and all this other kind of stuff there. Having said that,
them videos was something else though.
Well, I used to love to watch the videos. I ain't never listened to the songs, but I would love to watch the videos. You know what I mean? But that's my whole point. I was glad that he won the record, but since he won the case against the government. But did that make me go buy any Luke albums? No, I don't listen to that kind of music. I don't want to, unless I'm going down to Florida. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear that in New Jersey. It was funny too because that's what was that thing called? What was it? Was it the box when they first came out with that, where you go call in and they would play the video throughout the country and all that kind of stuff there? I think it was called the box. I think it was called. I'm not thinking, but it was a box. And they would always, what we would do is they would play the different videos, but we got our surround sound on. So we listening to whatever we want to listen to, Wu-Tang and Redman and whoever else. We're watching their videos. Because at the time it was that, what's them dudes that I can't even think of their names, but this video I'm talking about when this channel first started saying,
this video jukebox.
It might have been, the box or video jukebox, something like that, where you call in and you pay. Yeah, Drew said video music box. Music. Now, I thought that was a TV. I thought video music box was a show. It was a channel where they just actually called in. You called in and you had paid $5.99 or whatever it was at the time just for them to play this video. But anyway, they ran this song for 3 days straight. I'm like, where are these people calling in from? That, Hey, in the middle of the bar, talking about that. Hey, I don't even like, dude. I do not want to hear this. So we had a video playing, just listening to whatever we listening to. But that's my point. We gotta find a way, um, like you said earlier, to hold people accountable. I still want to see. And we that sounds good in theory, but I think a lot of times, to be honest with you, Sam, I don't think a lot. I don't think our version of accountability really matters until we get to that great day, that judgment day, where people
Yeah.
got to really pay for their sins and their actions. Where we all meet the great man in the sky. We find out what it is or how whatever. I don't believe that accountability is really. I don't believe that it's hard to measure accountability until we stand before our Creator. You know what I mean? When I think about, and of course, it's is a alleged, and people don't want to believe it because it's him. But I honestly, always in my heart of hearts, I feel like Clive Davis had something to do with the demise of Whitney Houston. I believe that she wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? All these different things here. Drew said we live in a scripted world. Absolutely. That's why I'm ready for him to yell, cut. This scene is over. Like it's just so you really got to laugh to keep from crying these days because it's so much stuff that's disheartening that I don't like to take too much time to think about it because it really brings my spirits down. But it's a sad, chaotic world, and I want to see everybody that's done people dirty, done people wrong, they have to pay for their actions. Period. You know what I mean? Whether it's Puffy, whether it's and that's the point that I was talking about. What I was saying, with not what you personally saying, but that's my thing. Like when I'm not against people exposing people or whatever the case may be, however you want to word it. My thing is when you know these different things, are we just supposed to ignore it because it's black people? Are we just supposed to ignore it because if I go out here and well, I already said I'm not an advocate, so y'all already know I ain't going out here shooting nobody. But let's say I went out here and I shot 15 people. I would like to think people wouldn't condone my actions, but the people that truly love me not gonna stop loving me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I
Mhm.
wouldn't expect for them not to not talk about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, true. And I told somebody that on the closeout show last year. I said, as bad as things looking, it's gonna get a whole lot worse before it get better. And I honestly, truly believe that in my heart of hearts. And with my prayer life and my talks with God, I don't. We had just at the beginning stages, man. That's why I always encourage people: get to know your personal Savior, get to know your higher power. Whatever you believe in something other than this. We got to get past the point in believing in going to punch this clock and paying these bills. You got to work just to stay broke. Like we got to get out of this. We got to break the matrix. Like Drew said, is a scripted. We got to break this matrix. We got to get past all of this here and find some sense of freedom, true freedom, real peace of mind for one another, a commonality. Even when we could agree to disagree on certain topics, when it comes to politics and religion and marriage and whatever the case may be, find that common ground, man. And at the end of the day, what it always go back to, I remember doing a sermon one time and I was talking about them four letter words, and I said it's really funny how all you got to change one, but you talk about LIVE to live and the love LOVE. It's only one letter that's different between both of them, but to really live, you must love. And they tell us that God
Yeah.
is love. So let's really find our way back to love. You know what I'm saying? Like Sam said, we
Yeah.
worry too much about the hate and then this here and that there. All right, but what about love? What are we doing for our kids? What are we doing for our communities? Do your kid know that if the mother working late from school that they could get a ride home with me. As you as the parent, do you know that your child is safe in my company? Like, what are we doing to get back to that? As opposed to just all this individualism. Like, we got to get back to the basics of community. Like I was saying last week, we got to get back to community dividing. We're not gonna always agree on everything, but at the end of the day, we can still love each other. We can agree to disagree, but we can still love each other because that's the first commandment: love. And if you, I said it before on the show, that's one of the things that I had to learn personally. Um, if I don't love myself properly without overdoing it, because I think a lot of people overdo it, but that's neither here nor there. But if I don't love myself properly, how can I love my brother properly? You know what I'm saying? So let's just really do some soul searching and really get back to the basics, man. Um, Again, rest in peace to the Rob Reiner family, the young lady Ella and Muhammad, those families, the families that y'all was talking about over in Australia, Baltimore, Chicago. All my condolences and prayers are with all these families and with us, because you were saying it about the cops and the firefighters earlier, Sam. Like, we really got into a place in society where Drew said it's not getting back to none of that, Marv. I'm sorry. Now you ain't got to apologize to me. I could dream upon a star. If people could celebrate, if people could wish that, if people could believe that, or hope for Santa Claus to bring them something because they on a naughty or nice list, I could dream for a better world. You know what I mean? Not to say that that's gonna come true, but I'm gonna keep on praying. I'm gonna keep on being trying to do the best on my part of what I could contribute to a better society, a better world, a better community, and a better me myself. Um, but I really think that we got to get back to um, caring about something other than ourselves. We living in a very selfish society in today's area, and of course that doesn't apply to everybody, but there's too much finger pointing and not coming together. I think
Yeah.
I think we need way much more unity um, across so many different things. And like I always say, I'm still working on it, but I'll be trying my best. I want to find a Muslim brother, a sister, an Indian brother, sister to get on the show, come and have a conversation, educate us on some of the stuff that we think that we know or we just take for granted. So prove us that those are stereotypes. Those stereotypes are not true. Like Sam made a good point earlier. You know what I mean? I know about Archie Moore. I know about Errol. You know, all these different Herbie Hancock, um, Dizzy Gillespie, Tito Puentes. I just love music. I love all kinds of music. I love everything other than bluegrass and quartet music and gospel. People always think that as much as I love gospel, I can't stand no quartet. But I would let y'all have that. But yeah, we're more than just what we're more than just hip hop. And I'm saying that from somebody that's from the inner city. Don't just patronize me with DMX videos and like you say, Sam, NBA. I want to know about the Ben Carsons. Let me decide for myself if he's a good person or a bad person or he ain't black. Who of any of us to speak on someone else's blackness or ethnicity? You know what I mean? Because we don't agree with him. How are you acting white? What does it even acting white mean? Because you talk proper, because you talk correctly. Like, let's stop the stupid stuff. That stuff is like stupid and minute to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's really focus on what matters, and that's most of all that's our families, and particularly especially our children, um, because excuse me, it's up to us to teach them because whether we want to or not, we going to that grave, and when we go to that grave, the world gonna still keep going on, and it's gonna be their world to live in. We got to get these little phones out their hand, all these little tablets out their hand, put some books in their hands, and get them educated on some different things because it's scary the way that we're working now. You know, you got kids that don't even know what it's like to go outside and play. Why would I want to go outside? Like, because it's fresh air
Mhm.
out there. It's like, we're slowly digressing as mankind, and that ain't just a black thing. That's a people thing. You know what I mean? So we got to really do better. We got to do better if we want better. And I definitely want better for my grandkids, my great grandkids. If the world should keep on tarrying, I definitely want them to be living in a better world than we living in right now, um, without all the chaos. But that's really all I had tonight. I got to get ready to get up out of here because I go punch this clock, get into work myself. I'm tired of that. Then praying that God change that situation too, because I need some financial freedom so I can be able to do what I want to do, work on this show. You know what I mean? Be able to give you guys good content, work on my spiritual man for myself, take breaks when I need to here and there, mental breaks. Um, but yeah, I love doing this. I love spending time with you guys. This is my real my heart's desire. And I really felt like God led me to do this. I know that God led me to do this. And next week we're gonna have Drew on with me. Drew gonna share whatever God gives him to share. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. We're gonna close the year out right. And we're gonna also, like I said, I always tell you guys this: continue to hit me up on the DM, text me, messenger, whatever, about different things that you want to see. And if you guys know any guests that you guys will want to see on the show, holler at me so I could get with them and work it out when they schedule and everything to get them on the show. I would love to have any and every kind of conversation on here. I like to use this platform, like I said, to bring about understanding, educate people, have a good laugh, cry some tears here and there. You know what I mean? But let's do it together. I don't want nobody feeling like they got to do anything alone or their voice isn't heard. You know what I mean? You might not be important enough or famous enough to make it on the Jimmy Kimmel show or Conan O'Brien and all these different ones, but you can come on this platform and chop it up with us. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. That's why we started this, to give everybody a voice. Gay, straight, religious, unreligious, atheist. I don't care who you are. Let's come on here and talk about it. Because I just love having good, healthy conversations, man. But I love you all. I hope everybody has a good, prosperous week. You had anything else in close out, Sam?
Oh no, I enjoy being on here with you.
No doubt, man. I enjoy you too, man. I hope you and get everything you needed done as far as the house, man. I know that. I know it's
No, I'll
driving you
be back
crazy. I
out
know you
there
can't wait.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I know you can't wait till that's finally done.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, y'all have a good evening, man. I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Tell a friend, bring somebody with you, because I think Drew gonna really bless us. I know he's gonna bless us. Um, I love you guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I feel like I'm leaving out something else that I was supposed to mention, but I can't think of it right now. Please forgive me. Um, Maybe I'll post something tomorrow or whatever it is that slipped my mind. But I know it was something. But again, rest in peace and everybody that lost loved ones, and like I said, continue, like I've been saying this whole month, continue to please really check on people during this time of year. A lot of people have a difficult time with the holidays, losing different family members, and this time of year is supposed to be a joyous occasion, for many different reasons. So let's really be intentional about inviting somebody over or calling somebody, even if it's just bringing them a plate, just calling to check up on you, different things of that nature. There, just let's not make sure that none of our circle is isolated during this particular time, because that's where the enemy really messes with our mind, when we're isolated. So the analogy I like to use is, you never see a boxer in the corner like this here not swinging back. It's not a fight. At least let them know that you're in the fight. You might not win the fight, but at least let the enemy know that you're not just easy to prey on. Um, but yeah, man, y'all have a good week. Get y'all some rest, and everybody stay warm, boy. This freezing out. Y'all forgot to forget a hat. I ain't get a chance to shave my head, but I refuse to shave my head. And with these teens overnight up here, this weather is cold, man. I hope this is over soon. Um, but shout out to everybody else too in Jersey, man. I know that you guys are dealing with the cold and snow as well. I'm praying for everybody involved. I hope everybody stays safe. Try to stay warm as possible and keep the health. Y'all see, I got my OJ. So everybody's just stay prayed up, love on each other while you can. Let somebody know that they how much you mean to them while you yet can. Till next Tuesday, DeAndre and Lisa, know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.